The Court of Public Opinion is a part of the Amateur Radio Network. Hi, you're listening to our broadcast here, and tonight we are listening to some clips of other shows and responding back to this how we are being told to shut up. So we might be silenced by our disagreements. Um, we still think very much in terms of what it is to communicate. And so we decided, instead of doing what we were doing before, get my stuff here, is that we're going to stay with the constitutional stuff. And we want you guys to read your Constitution and find out about the constitutional freedoms that are infringed upon. Because it's a constitutional battle and we have attorneys, and we've been in the midst of a lot of legal battles, and that is what's going on, is that you would have to be challenged. And that's what a lot of these individuals that I'm dealing with, they don't own a piece of my property, they don't have a dime, they don't earn a dime that way. And by using illegal tactics, infringing on my constitutional freedoms. So I wanted you guys to hear a clip of what Doug Hagmann's been talking about, because it's relevant.
So I've got to spend hours upon hours creating, going in and substantiating the fact that I'm not. It's not a complaint. It's just telling you what I'm doing. And I've got to go in and defend myself.
They're accusing him of being a Russian agent. He's a detective that is from Pennsylvania. And he has to defend himself. He has to have an attorney. We have to have attorneys for this. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. You decide if he's a Russian agent.
Against ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous accusations. And you may say, well, quit complaining and quit talking about this. It's not a complaint. I'm providing a reason, and the reason is each one of you out there, at some level, in some capacity, if you are vocal on the social networking platforms, and pretty soon if you're vocal in the halls of your own city council on a local basis, you will be told to sit down and shut up or face civil consequences. I want to prepare you for that. And believe me, it's not going to be fun. And it's not fun, and it's not going to be fun. So that, in addition to, so we've got that, the social networking people just censoring everything. You've got the internet, Google alphabet, redirecting searches. You've got just this massive banning by the left, by the communists, against the conservative Christians. You've got targets on the backs of Christians. You've got targets on the backs of conservatives. And you've got people out there who are fighting. And I know people who are fighting out there, fighting to survive, to have their voices heard, and to have their rights upheld. Mm-hmm. Yes, we've got a constitution in this country, but the left, they don't give a damn about it. The stuff that's going on in Minneapolis, second day. The Democratic mayor of Minneapolis evacuating a police precinct, retreating from these riotous thugs. Look, this is not to say what happened is justifiable by the police officers.
Yeah, because the riot itself is as a result of the death of George Floyd, and what you see is it's now a whole different set of rules. Now it's like a prison riot is what it comes down to. I want to tell you, we've been doing stories, and talk about constitutional, every case is different from one another. George Floyd was in custody and he died in the custody of police. So there in itself, they can already determine what happened there. When it comes to the Constitution, was his constitutional rights infringed upon? That would be another thing. There are different cases. There's a federal case going on right now because now it involves the federal government because well, first of all, when they arrest a police officer, I'm pretty sure it involves the federal government. You got state, county, and local, and so when you break it down, there are a lot of things going on at once up there in Minneapolis, Minnesota. What I'm saying here is that there are other cases of maltreatment, and we're going to talk about the stigma of mental illness and how many programs where foster children are being abused. And call your senator. I called Pat Toomey, and we're not being vocal. We're just telling you like it is. It's well documented in court that abuse has gone on, okay? And what Doug Hagman said is voices need to be heard. That's why this violence is breaking out. Because the more you try to squeeze all these people's freedoms, people's freedoms and try to subvert their freedoms, the more prison break type of prison riot that's going on. It's like watching a prison riot on TV. I hope what you get from this, you can weigh in and you could decide. We need a jury of 12 and we need tribunals is what we need. So that what's going on in Minneapolis could happen in Pittsburgh, it could happen in Philadelphia, it could happen in Chicago, it could happen in New York. We need to have people selected in military tribunals, and we need people of our peers to be ready, to be watched what process you're going to go through. Most of you who listen to broadcasts like mine or listen to Doug Hagman know that you have to have a jury of your peers. And we all are going to watch who's going to go in through jury selection into trials, because right now this is what the trial phase is like. So be prepared to go through trial phase. If you have a case pending, and your case might go to trial, more or less. If you have a case like a substantial case. Most of you have gone to court. So you know the court of public opinion is not court, okay? What it is just weighing out the information and finding out where the judge's opinion is going to lie to. Is it going to side on the side of the families impacted by the death of George Floyd, which would be the actual family, and maybe like in this case, maybe he had children. We're going to find out where the judge's opinion is going to go. In my opinion,
isn't it with the deceased? That's not to.
In my opinion, the judge is going to side with Doug.
But folks, do you see the coordination of?
Because he's not a Russian agent, okay? When we voted for judges as well. We were voting for conservative judges who are sensible, who do things on the bench that make sense, okay? And they're not going to put people away and take their gun rights away and do all these things. It's time to wait to see what happens with the judges say, because the time and the discussions are over, okay? And I'm going to end this post this way. It'll be up to what the judge says and how it all weighs out. We need to know that you all should be prepared. If you are law-abiding citizens and you've ever been through jury selection, be prepared because you might get called up. That's about it. Thank you guys for listening. The Court of Public Opinion is a part of the Amateur Radio Network.